even know about this setup. I just come into Creative Mornings literally every month, surprised in some way, because we have the best team, we have the best collaborators, so thank you so much, Vanessa, for sharing. And welcome, everybody. I kept saying like 5 times, I was like, the vibes are vibing today here, right? Oh my gosh, and that's because of all of you bringing the energy every single month here, and so grateful to be with you. If we do not know each other yet, my name is Taylor May. I am the host here of Creative Mornings Detroit. This is what we do. We hang out, we bring cool creatives together, we sing songs. We're gonna have a fashion show that we have prepped for you in just a moment. But before we even dive into all the good stuff, you know I gotta do my announcements of stuff. But I first want to see who's in the room. We know we like to do this. I want you to stand up if you are able and willing. If this is your first Creative Mornings, do we have any first timers? I have a feeling. Welcome, welcome, welcome! Wow! Amazing! Ooh, now I want to know, because the theme today is Crossroads. We have a little inspiration in there. If you've ever said yes to a creative risk before you were ready. Has anyone ever done that? Stand up if you've ever done that before. I know I have. I'm doing that right now and it feels pretty sketchy. Stand up if you are currently at a creative crossroads, figuring out what's next. So maybe you're looking for a new gig, you're looking for some more clients, something. Stand up if you're in that crossroads. Okay, look around the room. We do this every month because now I want to switch. Stand up if you're looking to hire or looking for a collaborator. Do we have any people presenting opportunities in the room? Awesome. I bet that's not true, because what I also do know is this is a room of people that create opportunities for each other all of the time. So if you do have one, tell me, let me know. We're going to share it out with our community. And last but not least, stand up if being here today is reminding you that you are not alone on your journey. Yeah. Singing those songs together, go ahead and have a seat. Singing those songs together, it was like, oh my gosh, like what a moment of unity. So amazing. So as I was kind of alluding to, if you are someone that does have an opportunity to present, or you have something that you just want to tell the community that you're up to, like an event or we've posted Super Bowl commercials of cool things that you've done. Go ahead and scan the QR code, or we have this that we send out in our newsletters to send out once a month to the whole community, so thousands of people will get to know about what you're up to. And of course, I want to thank our sponsors and our partners that make this stuff happen, because without them, literally, we would not all be here. I want to especially point out Nudina Design, and we're going to have Bailey from Nudina Design say a couple things, because I want you to meet her. Where's she at? Bailey, where are you at? Bailey? There she is! Round of applause for Bailey, everybody!
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Bailey. I'm the founder of Nudina Design. We specialize in digital and physical product design and development. And you're so smart.
Hi, everybody. I'm Osman.
Feel free to follow us on Instagram. We're actually looking for collaborators. We're looking for people who have products or ideas for a product, and they're looking to take it to that next level. Feel free to follow us. Or come talk to us. Enjoy the rest of the show today.
Nudina Design, thank you. I have one other special announcement that I am so excited to introduce you to. Creative Mornings, we are partnering with Folk. Who's ever been to Folk in Corktown? Super cool, as well as Tomorrow is Human. Ashley, raise your hand in the back. Ashley, yeah, you know Ashley. She's everywhere, she's amazing. We are partnering to host an after-hours club. It is an intimate dinner of 15 people. So we want to pull 15 people from this room to have an intentional conversation. Because I always say, these big gatherings are just part one, but it's the coffee dates, it's the meetings, it's the smaller gatherings that really the real magic happens at. And so we want to curate that for this community. It is a nomination process. You can nominate yourself, or you can nominate someone else in the room. And so if you want to go ahead and scan that QR code, we'll put it out on socials today too, but would love to have you a part of this special thing. And as well, want to make sure to invite you already to next month, where we're going to be talking about revival. So same place, same time, you know the deal. Also want to make sure I point out, we have the Sheafy McFly, his work in the back, presented by Art Club. So if you hadn't had a chance to go take a look at his work, please do. And these works are for sale via the Art Club app, and so make sure to check that out. And we already got to celebrate the amazing Vanessa Cuchilla. Thank you so much again. So gorgeous. Yeah, what a gift to have you. And now, we have the opportunity, because today we're talking, the theme is Crossroads, and we're specifically looking at the crossroads of fashion. And you'll hear why, because there's a little something called Detroit Fashion Revolution Week heading in, and our panel will discuss more about that. Yeah, cheer on for that. But we wanted to give a little moment for a fashion show to celebrate some of the designers in Detroit itself. And we're partnered with Eugenie, which is an amazing boutique in West Village, if you've not been there. And you'll hear Jenna from Eugenie on the panel share more about Eugenie. But I think it's time we have a little fashion show. What do you think? Sound cool? Okay. Should we hit it? Let's hit it. Let's do it.
The designer. The designers, everybody. Thank you so much for showing your amazing work ethic. Give you a moment to introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Rhea from Alabama. I'm Ashley Karnowski. I am not from science. I don't care.
How you doing? I'm in. Hashtag.
Thank you guys so much for showing your work, sharing your talent. Obviously, go check out their stuff. Appreciate it. Thank you. Amazing. And now this is the party getting started. So we have even more for you now, and I'm so pleased to introduce
Our panel. So panel, come on up. We have Amanda Sweet, Jenna James, Nerd, Paulina Patowski, and Sam Serwin. So round of applause, everyone. Hi, everybody. Yeah, if you know them, you love them already. We have enough seats, hopefully. There we go. Are we good? Are we good? All right. Hi, everybody. Hello. Thanks for doing this and being here. I mean, I, of course, just want to start off by knowing who you are and knowing specifically your relationship with fashion and how that has formed why you're sitting here today in this conversation. So let's just go down the line and start there.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm Paulina Petkoski, and fashion, thank you. Fashion has always been a part of my life since I was very young, and I have 2 degrees in fashion from the Fashion Institute of Technology and the Polymoda Institute in Florence. And it's really enabled me to travel the world and connect with a lot of amazing people. And it's about self-expression and really empowering people to feel and look their best and be confident and be their best selves. I also work as a stylist. I'm an adjunct professor at the College of Creative Studies in the fashion department. And yeah, it's everything.
Thanks, Jenna. Yeah, go Paulina.
All right, hi, I'm Jenna. Similar in my relationship with fashion started at a young age, and I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and heavily influenced by fashion, film, industries there, and at a young age understood the power of dress and how that can really translate into an identity and communicating your values and what you want to represent through your clothes. Not having a ton of ability to buy clothes necessarily, it really inspired us, my brothers here today too, to find ways to express ourselves with what we had access to, shopping secondhand, tailoring things ourselves, and just really being creative. It took a while for me to embrace that fashion was going to be my career. I pursued a business degree, and throughout my work, I've worked in a lot of operations roles, but have always maintained a creative side hustle, so to speak, right? So I today work with Eugenie, lead the retail e-commerce side of the business, but have also started brands that continue on today. I started a brand called House of Hiatus, which provides robes for hospitality partners, like Kimpton hotels, auberge resorts, and it's all designed and manufactured in Los Angeles. And a goal would be to bring that type of manufacturing here to Detroit. So.
All right, my name is Nerd. People know me either as Brittany or Nerd. Nerd is a name that I got in college just for the fact that I get into things very deeply. We now know that diagnosis is autism, so there's that. But yeah, my name is Brittany. A little bit different background. I'm actually a software developer in my quote-unquote 9 to 5. I have an undergrad and a master's in computer science. But fashion has been a part of me my entire life. It just took me a really long time to realize it. I remember the first pair of sneakers I got, they were Jordan 13s, the retros, they were the playoff version. I was in 3rd grade, all of 8 years old. And that really started my love for fashion, even though I thought it was just sneakers. But as I've really grown into myself, fashion has been the reason that I get up in the morning. Fashion for me is really much so tied to my mental health. It's tied to my identity, and my evolution in fashion has been an evolution of self. And so it's just been really great to be a part of something like Detroit. Not from here originally, but I've been here for 10 years, and I pay city taxes. So, you know, you decide, you know, if I can say I'm a Detroiter or not. I always let Detroiters decide that because I'm never going to come out my mouth with it. But it really is, I always say that I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I really grew up in Detroit. And it's that grit, it's that making something out of nothing. And that's what Both Rows really is about. It's about mental health. It's about smiling. Both Rows, the name itself comes from the fact that I realized I had catered my smile to only show my top row. Because I did have braces, and I was ashamed to tell my mom that I messed up my bottom row because I didn't wear retainers. And so I catered myself to that with my smile. However, when I am experiencing pure euphoria, pure happiness, I can't control it. It is completely a Both Rows moment. And so just, you know, continue, chill. So just really excited to have fashion be that avenue, that car for me to be able to spread a message.
Well, hi there. My name is Sam. I am from Mexico. My background is in tech, and I am passionate about community, sustainability, and fashion. For me, fashion means connection. It has opened so many doors for me, and I think it's just what I'm so passionate about. I remember having my first little allowance when I was a kid, and I would save it to buy fashion magazines, because for me, it was important to understand what I wanted to communicate through my personality and what my personality was. So I'm just so excited to be in Detroit. I'm amazed by the power of community here. I've been lucky to connect with all these amazing ladies, and yeah, thank you for everyone for being here.
What up, though, everybody? How y'all feeling? Good morning, good morning. My name is Amanda Sweet. I am the creative fairy godmother, and I help people get fly, make friends, and save the world through community. Some of y'all might be like, what the heck does that mean? It means a lot of things. So I am the founder of the Revamp Clothing Swap Festival. We host a quarterly clothing swap festival that brings together over 700 people every single quarter to clear out their closets, bring it together. Our amazing 150 plus volunteers organize it into a beautiful retail pop-up experience. And then you get to take unlimited amounts of clothing home, and everything that's left over, we donate to nonprofits. And in the last 4 events, we've donated over 30,000 pounds of clothing to nonprofits in Detroit. I see a lot of familiar faces, so good morning. How did I get into fashion? What does it mean to me? I mean, from the time I was like this tall, my mom was screaming at me because I was the last person in the house, and she was like, Mendy, this is not a fashion show. Everything is not a fashion show. And I'm like, but it is, but it is. And then as I got older, I got into relationships that were very stifling of the way I looked, the way I dressed. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. I wasn't allowed to wear skirts. I wasn't allowed to show cleavage. I wasn't allowed to be on social media. And as I freed myself from some of those restrictive relationships, I found my solace in thrift stores. I found myself in the clothing racks. And I started doing plus size fashion as I started to free myself even more. And then I just kind of like wobbled my way into entertainment and like stumbled my way into community activism. And here we are, the creative fairy godmother on accident, but also on purpose.
Amazing human. Thank you. All of that being said, I want to hear each of your perspective, or just start a conversation on maybe a collective perspective even, on what is the status of fashion in Detroit? Like if you were to give us the 101, what is going on right now, what would you say?
I'll say there's so many talent here in like I think the real power behind all of this is the city. The people here are so welcoming to you. For someone like I moved here 3 years ago and I have met so many people in the industry like you all. I think collaboration in Detroit is the key to the success of the fashion in the city. As right now, as we are getting ready for Fashion Revolution Week, we have seen a collective, huge effort of a lot of organizations and brands and designers coming together. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would even add to that, and those are really great points. I would even add to that it really is the fact that I feel like Detroit fashion is just so underrated. It's so weird when I hear conversations and I have conversations with people and they talk about New York and LA and, you know, they've put in the work to be those paces. But then I hear DC and Atlanta and I'm like, Detroit? We're not talking about Detroit? It's so odd. Like, we can look around this room right now and everybody is completely different. Like, everybody is just completely different, but that's Detroit. Everybody up here on this panel is just like everybody in the city almost is multi-hyphenated. We bring all those different experiences that we have to create for ourselves to survive, and we bring it into fashion. And it's just, to me, like when I travel and stuff, it's just a very, very quiet, very like, oh yeah, Detroit no, Detroit has a lot. And I think right now, especially in the time we're in a sort of a renaissance. In the past like 5-6 years, not only for the city itself, but for the art scene and for what we're doing. To have something like this with so many people here, to have these type of panels, like that just speaks to where we are, but there's just so much more for us to go so that we're not underrated.
I think that the Detroit fashion scene is truly DIY. I spent many years working in the industry in New York City, and so I have a very good understanding of what the industry is. And to be honest with you, we really lack that here. The city is lacking a lot of resources, design incubators, industry councils that would be really traditionally supporting all of these amazing people that are doing things that are people-powered. And the people in the community, like you've heard everybody say up here, are the reason that the engine in this city is going. You know, I think the other really great asset that we have is that the College for Creative Studies did open up the fashion design department. And although that was started as an accessories program, it has expanded to include clothing design, and we'll be adding another program in 2026 as well. So I feel like CCS and the fashion department has really raised the bar in terms of having national and international brands coming to look at design talent here and actually creating a pipeline for opportunities, because I think it's amazing to be a DIY run city. But I also want to acknowledge that there's real challenges here that we're doing without, and we're doing a lot, and that shouldn't be the case, especially because we are a UNESCO City of Design. And I think that we really need additional support from the powers that be, because without that, we're not going to continue to grow and be thriving on a global industry of which, you know, this is a majority Black city. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to lead the new future of what fashion means, and it needs to be sustainable and equitable and inclusive. And I think we should represent that in Detroit.
So the state of fashion in Detroit, from my perspective and where we're at today, and then as Paulina referenced, it's important to think about what the future can look like. One perspective I want to share with you, Janie, is we often get people who come in from other cities, amazed, right? Wow, what a beautiful space, look at these amazing designers. Oh, I can only see these designers in New York or LA. And that is a big part of our mission, to bring that access to emerging designers to see, touch, feel, try on, shop our amazing assortment of brands. But often you can see the bias very early on and they go, but who's buying this stuff? And are people buying this in the city? And I said, absolutely. Majority of our clientele live in the city of Detroit. Of course, we have our loyal Detroit Metro clients and we have an online customer base as well. But having the creative entrepreneur culture that exists in Detroit and the understanding of voting with your dollars and buying into fashion that aligns with your values is something that we see on a daily basis, and really prioritizing that one special piece for the season and making that quality decision happen. And so it does exist, and you can see in the room how creative and expressive our community is. And I think that that's really pronounced. When it comes to making Detroit at that level where it's on that short list of fashion cities, we need marketing. We need to really establish that representation, and as we build the industry here of designers, it should come with that cachet, like it's also made in Detroit, the way that you do with New York designers, right? And we can speak to that in our shop, and we go, you know, in this, Rachel Comey is producing all of her fashion in New York, and there's an automatic buy-in from the customer that's like, oh, great, I trust that this is made in the USA, it's quality, and it's cool. So there's, I think, a big opportunity for us in the city.
I'd just like to piggyback on that too. I mean, I think honestly, when it comes to retail, this city is retail scarce. You know, it's like we just don't have a lot of options. Even the downtown, there aren't a ton of big box stores. So, you know, having stores like Eugenie or Kutete or other boutiques that you can support, like really try to do that and make sure that you are supporting those stores. Because, for example, Shop Good Neighbor closed downtown. They were one of the only places you could get great denim, except now you can get that at their store too. But it's actually just it's part of the reality. It's like, this is a reality check. I mean, I want to be enthusiastic and optimistic, but I really want to also point out that there's a long way to go. And when we look at the next 10, 20 years, we can't have retail continue to close in this city. So I don't know what the answers are, but I know that we need to be creative, we need to problem solve, and we need to figure out how do we create, again, a pipeline for local independent designers. You know, Detroit is the New Black was an amazing retail store downtown, but you see that there's a lack of retail foot traffic, and it's really hard to maintain a business in that kind of environment. So I think that we just need more retail, and I hope more people are inspired to do that.
All right. I want to piggyback on. I love everything that all of you are saying. It's about collaboration. It's about showing up. It's about shopping small and shopping local. And I think the thing that we tend to forget as a community is that our dollar goes a long way. And it wasn't until I was sitting front row at Michigan Fashion Week, looking at Lauren Hicks right here, who's building, you know, and her mission has always been for Michigan to be a fashion capital of the world. She sees it. We've been seeing it. She's been doing it for over 10, 15 years. So like Detroit has been doing it. We have been doing it. We have been living in this fashion capital. We've been selling furs. We design cars. We are at the forefront of design, art, architecture, style, all of that. And I think right now, where the state of fashion is that we're looking outside of Detroit to find the answer, when the answer really is right here. There's a designer in the back that's got your next fit for the next show. There's a designer over there. There's a designer right there, Delora, right there, CEO of Confidence, right there, that can make you your denim jacket, your denim jeans, your distressed look. Like, we are allowed to shop local. I think sometimes what happens is we forget. I was sitting in the front row of Michigan Fashion Week, and I was like, ooh, I like those jeans. I wish I could get those. And I was like, oh, damn. I could just go get those. And I walked up to the designer and I was like, how much? And he told me how much. It was affordable. We customized them completely to my own style and taste, and I bought them. And I was like, wow, if it's so hard for me to make this connection as someone that's been in the fashion industry for over 15 years, how much harder is it for all of you guys? Probably just as hard, because you're like, oh, there's a disconnect. these people are on stage, it's untouchable, it's unattainable. No, those people are back there with their sewing machines right now waiting for you to make a purchase. And you're welcome. And the road to retail location is a long one for small artists and entrepreneurs. It's a long road away. So if you finally see people pop up in retail, you know they work their butts off to get there, but the people that are on their way there need your support now. And you can look flyer than any single person that shops at Target or wherever else by shopping local than you could at any big box store. So my suggestion in the state of fashion right now is that the hitters are here. The hitters are here, and they have links in the bio to buy. They have links in the bio to buy. Be the light. Okay, so that's where my head's at.
No, that is literally how we do death of fast fashion. That's literally the answer. Like to have the patience, to have the understanding of what goes into the craft of designers. Like fast fashion can market. Fast fashion can get to you on Instagram. It can do all of those things. So yeah, I agree with a lot of people up here who said like it's about resources, it's about marketing, it's about just knowing. And that really is what it comes down to. That's why events like this are so great, because it really comes down, that's how we kill fast fashion, is just knowing what else is out there, what we can go to in our city, where we don't have to, go on the internet, or, still go on the internet for other stuff, but like go, and then it shops over from Korea, and then your size isn't right, and so now you gotta send it back, so now you gotta order something else. Like, no, just like Amanda said, you could go up to a local designer. We love to work with people. Like, my favorite thing about fashion is the way people smile when they're wearing something that they truly love and adore. And so like being able to do that as a designer, that's literally the bread and butter, right? So we got to just tap into those networks. But like you said, it's about how do we know that those networks even exist? So I'm actually curious, just because you two have been in like a lot of larger markets and stuff, what are things that you feel like maybe we could do around building those type of networks so people do know that these designers and stuff exist? And I already know you two are already in the game doing this, so just expanding on that a little bit more.
Detroit needs Detroit Fashion Week. Period. Like we just, yeah, but we need Detroit Fashion Week. Every city has its Fashion Week, and I feel like Detroit, I think, often wants to do it our own way, but there is a global industry. There are other standards that make sense to get on the same page with. So I think to be taken seriously, in my opinion, we really do need a Detroit Fashion Week, and we had them come and go over the years, but they have not been supported ongoing, and I think that would be a major game changer.
So in relation to what we're doing, Eugenie, like Coup d'etat and other retailers, understand the capital investment it takes to have a retail store. As you said, it is a long way from starting designing to actually being able to stock, staff, market, and do all of the things that go into a retail store. So our mission as boutiques in the city are to create these platforms and spaces to pop up, interact with customers one-on-one, gather feedback, make some money. So if you can, continue to pay attention to those. And I would say that actually is one thing, again, that's really going well. Is the traffic that we see for our community pop-ups is so pronounced, and it just affirms the loyalty that exists here and the pride that people have in their community and the relationships that they have with local designers. So we can continue that, but how do we continue to elevate that further out of our own little silos? A fashion week, or again, just showing up like you guys are in this room, and for the continuation of events that we're going to see this week.
I think I really like how you said, like, how do we kill fast fashion? And I think one of the ways is like just bringing awareness and creating the group. So how many of you guys are stylists? Raise your hand. Raise your hand and look around. Raise your hand high and look around. Are you a stylist? Okay, are you a designer? Raise your hand and look around. All right, are you in fashion to some other third degree? Raise your hand, raise it high. Okay, before you leave today, make sure you meet people and then you schedule something to follow up. Like, the thing about, like, yes, we're DIY, I feel that 100%. When you said that, I felt that in my spirit, because I'm like, I'm just making this shit up as I go, sorry. But Some of the stuff that we have to learn on the fly can build into big industry. And so, like, to talk about the marketing, how many people feel a struggle when it comes to marketing with your business, whether you're in fashion, whatever the case may be? Okay, so like, I love a guerrilla style anything. I love a let's all meet up on the block of East Baltimore and East Grand River and just squat up and take pictures. We don't have a marketing budget for the revamp, but we've built this brand ambassador program, and I'm gonna give you the secret sauce right here. Basically, we're like, for free clothes and free marketing, which is something I can provide because I do photography as well. On the other side, you post for us like 4 times and you get free clothes at the swap. So when I built that, originally it was like, I need help. I only have 2 hands. I can only move so much clothing at once. But it's become a 75+ brand ambassador program where they're guerrilla posting for us. Where I'm like, here, I'm gonna take 75,000 pictures of you, Delora, and she's gonna post every single one and tag us, right? So it's how do you get creative? How do you work with the dollars that you do have and say, okay, I don't have money to invest in every single person, but I can get catering for everybody here, right? If we're doing a DIY, I can get catering for everybody here and give you a mission and a vision to build on top of that not only highlights us, but highlights you 10 times more. So if you are working DIY and you're working guerrilla style, there are alternative ways around the current marketing system. So if you want to know more about brand ambassador programs, please let me know. I'm happy to share.
Yes! I feel like that's a perfect segue to what I want to know from each of you of where do you foresee, with all of your really diverse and beautiful backgrounds, what role you want to continue or maybe start to play in the future of fashion in Detroit and across the globe?
Well, I am very passionate about a vision for Detroit to be the next domestic, sustainable fashion manufacturing hub.
Say that again.
I will. Let me say it again. It's a mouthful, but I mean it. This is the vision. Detroit should be the next domestic, sustainable fashion manufacturing hub of the United States. Period. We are in the running with cities like Philadelphia and LA and New York. At the moment, their garment district is actually collapsing. It's being taken over by tourism. There's, production being spread out into different boroughs. LA has its own challenges, but cities like Philadelphia have design incubators, and they have an interest in the economic development of the fashion economy. And what I see from what's going on in the rest of the world, and what I've seen for a long time, because I am intuitively a designer, so I'm always looking ahead, and I'm always seeing and feeling trends, is that we have offshored all of our production for decades. Since the 90s was really when it began with NATO. And we have an opportunity now to, again, be front and center, be the leaders of what we've always done here. We've done innovation, we've done production, we've done manufacturing. Like, we have the capacity, we have the space, we want to create jobs, we want to diversify the economies here. Like, we have so much potential, and I'm not going to let that go. Like, I am absolutely committed to this vision.
What would be a wonderful next step is to have a garment district, as Pauline is referencing, in the city of Detroit. So personal experience, producing a brand in Los Angeles and exploring production partners here, which have changed. This was about 5 years ago, and Isaac was doing more production sewing, and they've pivoted more into innovation and taking people with basic sewing skills and upskilling them into industrial sewers, which shout out to Isaac. Funding from state and federal level for nonprofit organizations like that would be immensely helpful. But a garment district where you can shop fabrics and trims in one place and aren't cost prohibitive to get here would help keep all the amazing designers coming through CCS, through Wayne State's fashion program, local because they could find the resources they need to create high-level execution of products. So a garment district where we have that access, and then of course the industrial sewing to be able to bring those to life so that they can be stocked in retail stores across the country and really scale, right? Because right now we're talking a lot of DIY, a lot of these designers are sewing their own products, and it's not scalable. They cannot truly design and manufacture their products at the same time. No. So I think those are some ways that we can move forward.
No, I completely agree. With a lot of big box stores closing, including Joann, which is for I know a lot of people's go-to when it comes to, just quick for the zippers, buttons, things like that, even though the fabric is really overpriced. But like not having access to that, is such a big deal. I go to New York and LA probably twice a year to each. And most of my time is literally just spent in the garment districts. It's literally in LA walking around, seeing zippers, seeing literally anything you can think of, just literally at your fingertips and for very cost-effective price. We just don't have that access here, and I do feel like that is the biggest issue. I just went to Arts and Scraps a couple of weeks ago.
Ange is here. Where's
Okay.
Ange?
Yeah. Okay. I love it. I'm an upcycler. That's literally what I do. I thrift and I upcycle. I repurpose. These pants were literally like a blanket 2 days ago, and now they're my shorts. But it's like getting even access with Arts and Scraps. Like I'm thinking about that in a bigger space. So I just opened up a studio in the Russell called The Ether. And one of the things that I'm really looking to do is collaborate with different designers and stuff. When you have scraps of fabric and stuff, let's figure out how other people can utilize and access those things. We just don't have the pipelines here I feel like we need, but there's a lot of different silos and places that do the things, but it's up to us to make sure that we make those connections, and then we build directories and stuff so that we can share that information. So that's kind of the space that I'm looking to plug in when it comes to the future of fashion in Detroit. It really is just about access to stuff. And like I said, I learned to sew more or less from my seamstress and just self-taught. So I didn't want to spend $20 a yard on fabric. I go to a thrift store, spend $3-4 on a comforter, and now I have a jacket. So it's just about continuing that innovation and building those pipelines so that when we do have scraps and other things like that, we can continuously figure out different ways to innovate with those things, because that's what Detroit does. We literally take what everybody else doesn't want and we make some shit out of it. Sorry, but that's what we do, and so it's just continuing that, but making sure we have the resources and stuff, because we don't have a garment district, and that is probably the biggest issue we have here.
Oh, I have one, sir.
Yeah, because
I think when it comes to sustainability, fashion, and technology, the first approach that people always think about is marketplaces, because that's the first thing that came. So if you want to be part of this slow fashion movement, you can either buy secondhand or resell your clothes. So I think it's really important, the awareness and the educational aspect of it, where people now understand there is more to that. Now you can make your own clothes. Upcycling came to the picture. People are starting to learn more alternatives when it comes to clothing. So another thing that we have to keep in mind is the world is still recovering from a pandemic. So marketplaces, they don't feel personal anymore. You're reselling your clothes, especially with all the fees, and so it's just not a good idea. It's just not, it feels transactional. So now that's when clothing swaps, workshops, community meetups come to the picture, and everyone is so excited to try them because it's so easy and way more comfortable to meet people when you have something in common, right? So that's what we're doing at Be Reborn. We want for you to be able to find your community online, so then you can meet them in real life. So yeah, I think that's technology and slow fashion go together, and that's how I see it happen.
It's organizations like Be Reborn that can find places like the Revamp. So you should come to the swap, because for $25 you could get unlimited amount of clothing. I don't know how else to say that. For $25 you can get unlimited amounts of clothing. For $25 you can clear out your entire closet, your grandma's closet, your auntie's closet. So the more clothing swaps we do, the better. The more clothing swaps we bring together, the better for the community, for one another, for our nonprofits. The one thing that I think that the revamp does a little bit differently is we're doing it at scale. So our last clothing swap, we brought in over 10,000 pounds of clothes. Brought in over 10,000 pounds of clothes. I don't think you know how much, 10,000 pounds of clothes is like 2 semis full of clothes in one day. And we donated, we swapped 6,000 pounds. There is an industry here that is at the surface of being tapped into, obviously, but there's more for it to go. We donated 2,000 pounds of clothes. So if you're a local designer and you go to thrift stores and you're paying $12.99, when you used to pay $1.99, just go to a swap. Host your own swap. Do something where you can share, community share, resource share, and that's how you build resilience, that's how you build community, that's how we get through whatever we want to call this government. Right now, we're gonna have to build resilience, we're gonna have to come together, we're gonna have to share our resources, whether that's like at scale, at the industry size, or at the DIY level. We need to come together now more than ever to make our stuff, do our thing, be the artists that we're supposed to be, because we need you to show up the way you're supposed to show up, because there's no better time than now, because we might not have tomorrow. And as cliche as that sounds, we might not. So we need you to show up even if you're afraid. We need you to show up even if your sewing skills aren't great. We need you to show up even if you don't have the money to go to CCS, because there are people that are making it happen, and that people could be you. And it should be you.
I want to just tag onto that. A few ideas real quick is that, so New Lab in Brooklyn actually is part of the Navy Yard, and there's a shared maker space. So what that means is to get a 3D printing machine, to get an industrial cutting table, to get digital pattern making programs, to get all of the industrial sewing machines and the sergers and the industrial dress forms. Those would be really great resources to start with, to have a shared maker space. Maybe the space in here looks like a really good place that could be really well suited for a shared community workspace where everybody has access to resources and can actually make things on not home sewing machines that break with the needles that you can't get from Joann's now. Okay, so yeah, let's just hopefully somebody in the audience is taking notes on these ideas. But seriously, I mean, in terms of doing it yourself, like, I think it's really important, and part of the reason that we're here is next week is Fashion Revolution Week. And Fashion Revolution Week has been going on for years, and this is the first time that we've all come together as a community to celebrate this and provide awareness for Fashion Revolution, which is a global nonprofit that operates out of 80 different countries and is based in the UK. And a lot of the things that we're gonna be sharing with the public next week include Mending in Public Days, where you can actually go to a coffee shop or go to Campus Martius on the Mending Day and bring something that you need to fix, because we can't keep throwing things away. We can't keep buying things from fast fashion because it's cheap and easy. Yes, it's cheap and affordable. I understand that designer items are very expensive and that that's not necessarily in everybody's price point. But thrifting and mending and hemming and making these own alterations, these are skills that your grandmother, they had. Okay, so this is not new. This is coming back to where we started from. People used to make their own clothes, and not just make their own clothes, but fix them before they decide to throw them out or donate them. So it's not necessarily about overconsumption. It's also about overproduction. It's both. And so we have to really move away from a mindset about all of that and just culturally shift ourselves to understand that if these tariffs keep going on and we really lose access to 90% of the manufacturing that's happening in China, you're not gonna actually be able to do that anymore. It's gonna be a sobering reality that you're gonna have to make do with what you have. And all of the pounds of clothes that are in that semi-truck, you might wanna bring back and work with what you have. I mean, that's actually truly the situation. So just get handy, don't be afraid to do things yourself. And the good news is how do we stop fast fashion? it's already on a decline. Forever 21 just claimed bankruptcy, okay? By 2030, the secondhand market is gonna be the biggest market, and it's gonna surpass the mass fashion market for the first time in decades. The change is already happening. It's already here. You just have to be conscious. And by that, I mean be a conscious consumer. I'm a stylist. I work with clients one-on-one to meet people where they are. And it doesn't mean that you have to go shop at Neiman's or Saks. I worked with a client 2 weeks ago. We went to Value World for 45 minutes. I got him an entire new wardrobe for the season, and he feels so amazing on a 50% off day. Okay? So, I mean, it doesn't matter what your budget is. You just have to really be conscious. And I really hope that you guys see the digital guides in the back and go to some of these events next week and share this with other people, because it's not an exclusive thing. This is an inclusive thing. We're inviting you all in, but you have to be the change you want to see, and that's what Fashion Revolution is about, and that's why we're all here.
I want to interject and bring maybe a polarizing point of view here when it comes to fast fashion. And when it comes to conscious consumption, versus we've been living in a conspicuous consumption era for a long time, but how do you, when it comes to your personal style, how do you blend secondhand, upcycled things? You have to have a solid wardrobe foundation. So solid basics, the button down, the white tee, the good pair of denim. And while we encourage you to shop at our local boutique, and that may not be in your reality today, but if you do go to H&M downtown, because it is one of our very few retailers where I can shop for my child, and potentially myself, is just check your tags. So there are options, 100% cotton options in those stores. There's a lot of options if you start to look. Because when I think about the trickle-down effect and what's ending up in these swaps and thrift stores, as a thrift store shopper for many years, is the majority of it is polyester. There's synthetic fibers that I will not wear. I will not put that on my body if I can avoid it. And I don't want to make new clothes out of those materials necessarily. So in small ways today, one, I don't want to shame people for shopping fast fashion, but I want to encourage you to look for those 100% linen, 100% cotton. There's organic cotton options, because we also need, again, when it comes to scalability, we still need those large producers of fabric available to us. So we need their excess bolts in our shops so that up-and-coming designers, that's how I started as a designer, was shopping those dead stock locations in LA. And at the time I started, I could find really high-quality fabrics, but even in just the last 10 years, you start to see more and more bolts of fabric that are synthetic that I don't want to use, right? So in a small way, you have the ability to just pivot, just check those tags, educate yourself and your children on the materials that are in clothes and why, just like you want them to eat organic foods and healthy foods, that things you put on your body can have that same impact on yourself and then in the kind of economy that we're growing. So.
Yeah, I definitely, that makes a lot of sense, especially with fashion. Just to reiterate, fashion is inclusive. Everybody has a sense of style. Even if you don't feel like you do, that's just your sense of style. And so it is really just about meeting people where they are. And so sustainability in fashion can be looked at a multitude of ways. One of them, of course, being the way that you shop and the materials that you shop. I couldn't have said it better, so I won't. You heard what she just said. And then also, too, just also when you're creating these pieces and stuff, I'm really big on generational pieces. Like one of my favorite pieces in my closet is this 30-plus-year-old Charlotte Hornets bomber jacket I got from my great-grandmother after she passed. And it still is in like pristine shape. Some of my favorite pieces when I see other people are pieces that kind of look like your grandma's couch. But those are the pieces that stand the test of time because of the silhouettes they're in. So sustainability also can be in just like your general fashion, like you said, you know, always having the denims, always having basics. Honestly, my go-to is when I want my basics and things, it's Zara, it's ASOS, it's H&M. Just very direct, hey, I need some khakis, I need a white button-up shirt, things like that. But also just paying attention to that material and then figuring out how you can merge that and the sustainability of generational pieces that you can get from family members that pass down. I'm a big thrifter, estate sale person. Like, there's just so much beauty in the world. And instead of going into a landfill, let's find new purpose and life for it. But it really does come down to the fabrics. And one thing that I've noticed with fabric, especially when it comes to generational pieces, is just the sustainability of those generational pieces. Like, you can get a blazer that's 30 to 50 years old, grant you, but if it's created with the right material and the right structure, that literally can be passed down to the next generation and the next. And so another way for us to keep things out of landfills and things. So really when it comes to sustainability, it's just changing of a mindset from overconsumption. Like my hat says buy the sneakers. I used to be a massive sneakerhead. Like, I have a closet that has over ignorant amount of numbers, so I won't say it, right? But like now I haven't bought a new pair of sneakers in like 2+ years. And so it's really just about kind of changing up the way that I view fashion and what I want my imprint to be. Also, I tend to give away some of my sneakers too now because I'm like, if I'm not wearing them, they're kind of just wasting. And so it really is just about changing the way that you look at fashion. And there's a lot of different ways that you can also be a part of the sustainable fashion trend.
Ladies, unfortunately, we are at time. We could go for like 2 more hours. I feel like, right? This is so amazing. I am so moved by each of your expertise and the clarity in your vision of what's needed and what you want. Like, you're so certain, and that is so moving to me. And so you're speaking to literally a whole room of people that want to help in making these visions a reality. So I'd love just to close with, in one sentence, what is one way that we can show up and support you and the bigger vision of the future of fashion in Detroit?
Just connect with me afterwards.
Perfect.
I built one sentence. See, no.
I will say the key to really keep the community and the work going is consistency, right? Like, we cannot only embrace one type of lifestyle for a couple of months and then let it go. So I just invite you to come to Fashion Revolution Week next week. There's going to be a lot of resources. There's a lot of work behind. There is a great team, multiple organizations and people taking the time to put this together for you. So just come and we will be happy just to share more, and there's a lot of resources. Thank you.
And then after all of that amazing stuff that's happening that week, at the very end, April 26th is the Revamped Clothing Swap Festival. So pack your bags, clear your closets out, come hang out with us. But then my other ask to help us is to help yourself. Do the thing, make the piece of art, put yourself out there, make the ask, do all of that. Come ask me, and I will just be like, what can we do to make your dreams come true? That's how we make my dreams come true, is if you guys are living your best lives. So come to the swap and then pop off.
All right, similarly, we have an event at Eugenie on Saturday the 26th, so make a whole Detroit day out of it. We're celebrating Earth Day in store, and really why I want you to come in is so we can just have these conversations and continue them.
Agree. I would say that advocacy is needed, community organizing is needed, and showing up next week to start that off and find other like-minded people that will be able to come together, be stronger together, and support each other is a really good first step. So the kickoff for Fashion Revolution Week is on Tuesday, on Earth Day, at Playground Detroit from 5 to 8. We're going to be having a large group exhibition called #WeAreFashionRevolution, where you'll get to experience a lot of people who's in this room, their upcycled work, their artwork, their garments, and then be able to mix and mingle with everybody else that is a part of this movement. So please join the Fashion Revolution.
Thank you so much. Round of applause, everybody. Dang.
Literally like mic drop. I'm not gonna drop it, but seriously.
Thank you, thank you.
So just to wrap us up, let's see, my clicker. Realities of this thing. Oh, we got a clicker? Oh, maybe we don't. I'll just say, meet us at Cafe Noir afterwards. Cafe Noir, give a round of applause for coffee back there, serving it up. After hours always happens over there, so go ahead and meet up after there, and then we'll see you again next month. So see you there. Please go to Fashion Revolution Week and all of these amazing events. You're all amazing. Thank you. Enjoy your week.